Hello, everyone. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late with the start today. Let me see who's all here. I see someone from GoodWe Solar. I see Daryl, David, Andrew, Callum. How's it, guys? George, Dean, Mark, who else? Yeah, we got already quite a 32 people in. Got quite a lot of registrations today. Okay, let's give it another minute before we start. Tabo, Tino, Wayne. Nice. I see someone, George, raised his hand. Just please write into the chat if you have any questions. I hope everyone can see and hear me. Maybe just give me a quick thumbs up. And also can see the presentation. Just a quick thumbs up and on to the chat. Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, if you have any questions during the presentation, please write it into the chat, and we will see that we can answer it right away. Or I will open. So I will do this little. I will do the start now, and then I will hand over to David from GoodWe. And once, like, if you have questions, I'll open my mic and I will ask him those questions within the presentation, or we will try to answer the questions on in the chat if we can. All right, cool. Then let me quick look. I think, yeah, we got 45 people in here now. I think that should be good to get going. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna start with a quick, as usual, quick IBC presentation, and then I'm gonna hand over to David from GoodWe for the GoodWe presentation. Yeah, as said today, it's about GoodWe products. We'll speak about, or David will speak about the new GoodWe products which have been released and also arrived at our warehouse. And then as well, gonna go much more into detail on the new GoodWe ES. Yeah, a product we've been waiting for quite a long time for. The new release of the ES, the first product was quite a big success in South Africa, and now we have a new version of it, and we're very excited about this product. And yeah, we already got quite a lot of stock, so once this webinar is done, you guys are welcome to order, and also to give it a little bit of an incentive. So for everyone who attended or is attending today, write that voucher code down. We're also going to send a follow-up email afterwards with that voucher code. So everyone who is attending today receives a Rand 500 voucher for his first GoodWe ES purchase. So please write that voucher number down. Ooh. Oh, sorry. Please write that voucher number down, and for your first GoodWe ES order, you'll get 500 Rand discount. This discount is going to be valid for 14 days. So yeah, just make sure that within the 14 days after this webinar from today, that you order a GoodWe ES unit and yeah, receive your Rand 500 voucher. The voucher is also only for the online shop. So go into the online shop and you can place your order, and on checkout you put in your voucher code, and then you receive the discount. If you maybe in the webinar now and you don't have an account with IBC, or you don't have got an online shop login yet, please maybe just send in. You can also send a quick message here into the chat, and with your email address, and we're gonna send you a sign up form, or just speak to your sales manager to get locked into the online shop. And then it should also be all very easy. You can see, but let's go through it. I'm actually going to show you now the online shop a little bit in the introduction and presentation. Also this month we extended. We had February now into March. Also the other commercial GoodWe products, the normal grid tie 3-phase commercial range. We're having a 3% discount on all of those products at the moment. A special running. We also received our containers this week of GoodWe equipment, so we have plenty of stock. Which if you're looking for grid tie inverters at the moment, where other brands at the moment a bit short, we just received our new stock with the hybrids and as well as the commercial range. So there is plenty availability. So yeah, check it out online and receive another extra discount. Well, let me quickly check. I see someone saying no video came up here now, but I think everyone else can see me, right? Can see, like, or can at least see the presentation. I mean, that's the most important. You don't have to see me. The presentation is more important. Okay, cool. Then Willem, please check on your side. It might be something on your side. If you can't see it, if everyone else seems to be okay, so maybe just join again, and then it should be fine. Okay, cool. Let's continue. So also what we introduced a couple of months ago, you can find that in the online portal, is Lula Pay. So it's also a very nice way to bridge finance, I would say, your equipment. If you need a bigger credit for a project, you can actually finance that equipment through Lula Pay, and they kind of like pay us, and then you can get the equipment already, and within, let's say, 3 to 6 months, you pay them back. So a nice bridge finance for your projects, if that is needed. So have a look at it. It's on our online portal, Lula Pay, and all the informations are there. Then let's chat about the IBC portal. So as said, if you don't have a login yet, let us know, and we're going to get you a login. The most important tiles, I would say, is our online shop, PV Manager, where you find like an Excel prices information as well as the technical services. And I'm just going to guide you quickly through those. So the prices information, if you not using the online shop and you're not online somewhere, or you need information to work into your calculation tool, which might be on Excel or has a possibility of Excel imports, just go onto the price list, go onto the button to download the price list, and you'll receive an Excel sheet which you can use. Let me actually quickly open this here for you, the Excel sheet, and you can then get your prices from an Excel sheet and work it out quite easily without having to be online. You can just download that Excel price list. Makes it easy also to find prices. Oops, that's how it looks like. Oops, coming up here now. Okay, there we go. That's how it looks like. There's all our products in. On the top right, you can put in your discount, 28%, 30%, or 32%, whatever your discount structure is with us. And then you see prices of our modules. You see the prices on this side. And also all the products are listed here. So the list price and then your price. So if you want, you can also search. If we want to have a look at GoodWe now, you go into the search here and you write GoodWe. Oops. And all the GoodWe products are coming up here, and then you see the discounts of the products. If you maybe a US dollar client, just change the tab to US dollar and it works the same way. So you can toggle between Rand and US dollar pricing. So very easy and quick, and then say it works all the same way. All right, yeah, that's our Excel price sheet. Go back to the presentation. Then our online shop. Let's have a look quickly into the online shop. On the top of the online shop, there is a little navigation bar where you obviously can check between modules, inverters, storage, mounting system, accessories, e-mobility for EV charging stations, what is on sale, what is on promotion, or like what is our promote items, like giveaway items, IBC branded giveaway items, and then our services. At the moment, I want to also make everyone aware, I'm pretty sure you know, that it's been quite difficult at the moment. So with our high increase of orders at the moment, it's please yeah, give us a little bit of time to respond to emails, to orders. We're not as fast as we were, but that's not because we're slower. That's just because the increased amount of orders coming in. So let's please bear with us and give us a day or two to respond. We will respond for sure. We will call you back, but please give us a bit time to respond. And everyone is like, we're just working top to bottom through, and we're going to come to your order, and we will for sure respond and get you the products as soon as we can. Supply side is also a bit of an issue at the moment, as you all might know. It's quite a I wouldn't even say a shortage. Everyone is speaking about shortages at the moment. There's not really a shortage. Everyone just has the volume is just much higher, and we're already getting double as much as we usually get, but that's also all sold out. So it's not really a shortage. It's just such a high demand, and no one is able to actually supply that much product. And that's why modules are short everywhere in the country at the moment, batteries. So it's a normal thing. We just need to make our clients aware. Please wait a couple of weeks. Also, your clients don't say, okay, I'm coming next week. I know they all want it yesterday, but they also must learn it takes a couple of weeks time. Okay, a new function. So we released our new shop beginning of the year. The usability, we're adding more and more functions at the moment. And on the left side, you find the cockpit, where you can go in and see much more information, much more details of your information, your shipping address, my documents, the coupons you're using, PV Manager licenses will be integrated there as well soon. So it's a bit more user friendly than the old shop, but we're still working on those functions and adding them one by one. Also, there's a new brand bar, so you can already you can toggle through that brand bar and then click on any of the brands, and you will be directed to the page with all the products right away, which makes it also a bit faster to navigate. Then my documents, we had it already in the old shop, but we're also having it in the new shop, a bit nicer overview. Oh, where is that page? So this page should have actually come up now. Let me quickly have a look where this page is for my documents. Okay, my shop is unfortunately I'm with you in a second. Okay, my computer's a bit struggling here. Let me see if I can show it to you directly on my account. Okay, let's go in here to the cockpit and then my documents. So here you have an overview of your information, your credit limit and all of that stuff, your balance, and then you're free. I mean, this is my account now in the shop. Quite a high credit limit, but I also don't purchase anything. But you can see all that information, like your data here, which makes it quite nice to see. You can also see your shipping addresses, your different shipping addresses, add a new shipping address of your clients or whatsoever. And then there is a list of my documents. Unfortunately, I don't have any open orders because that's my own shop within IBC that's I use for testing, but I don't have any open at the moment. So normally all your orders you have with us would be listed here, and you can open them, you can have a look at them, and you can see all the information. Soon, at the moment, outstanding invoices is not working yet, but you will be able to see all your outstanding invoices. This is all going to be added more and more to that my documents in the next couple of weeks. We're busy finalizing the last little bit, and we'll release that very soon. Then also, yeah, your coupons you have been using, you can save those coupons. So I could save the what is ES? We had ES 20. Oh, was I gone now for a second? Is everyone still there? Can everyone still hear me?
Yes, Alex, everything's still good.
Okay, cool. It's somehow disconnected for a second here on my side. Sorry. Okay, cool. Then, yeah, so if you now, what you can do is already go into the shop and you can save that voucher so you can see how long it's valid, and if you have used it already, and how much amount is left on that voucher, so you can save those voucher to your online portal, to your online shop, which makes it quite easy if you receive a couple of other vouchers as well. And then also saved shopping carts. That's all available here on the shop, or even PV Manager designs. If you go to my PV designs, you can also see all the PV Manager designs you did, and out of the engineering tool, obviously send into the shop, and you can save them all here and then add them again to your shopping cart once your client obviously signs, and then you add them to your shopping cart. It's also makes it easy for quoting as well, right? Because right from PV Manager, you can actually use your quoting site. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the presentation. So some information on the online shop. This is our new module, the IBC 410 bifacial module. New added is all these attributes here, so you can see what color does the black backsheet have, what type of connector is used, the Evo 2, MC4 Evo 2, height, length. So we have a bit more information now added to the product on the main page, which is quite interesting, makes it a bit easier to check the product itself. Our Monosol 410, very interesting product, warranty of 25 years. So a very cool product. I think 25 years, there's not many other products with 25-year product warranty. We're not talking about the output warranty. It's the actual workmanship, the product warranty of this product is 25 years. So, and I haven't seen any, I've seen 15 years is coming more and more, from 10 to 15 years, but 25 years is very new. But this is a glass module with a frame, so very durable, and in my opinion, a very interesting product. On the right side, you see our volume pricing. So if you buy one piece or if you buy a whole container, the price has changed. And yeah, at the moment, prices went up a little bit again. Unfortunately, we are coming closer to the 6 Rand again, which is a bit unfortunate, but the Rand is extremely weak right now. So we were actually close to 5 Rand again, but now we're back to nearly 6 Rand per watt peak. A bit unfortunate, but yeah, I guess that's what the game is. If the Rand gets weaker, that's what we have. It will change again, or also I hope so. All right, then also on the same page, you can see the availability. So you can see 8 weeks ahead availability. At the moment, doesn't look so good, to be very honest. Everything what is coming in the next couple of weeks is pretty much sold out. Let's have a look at the 410 ES. And if we scroll down now and look at the availability, the next 8 weeks. So all what came in now, the next containers are also already booked out. So it's quite also on the other panels, the availability is a bit of a problem at the moment. Everything what is coming in has already been pre-booked. But we should have more availability in like I think in week 9 or 10, and afterwards it should be better. All right, so as soon as you chose a product, let's say we're looking for a GoodWe inverter, then you put that into your shopping cart. You go to your shopping basket or shopping cart on the top right corner. It looks like this. Then from there, you can use a coupon code. So you see the little field for the coupon code. You see again the availability. You see the price. So you see the product is available right now. So you can purchase it and you get a full drawdown of your VAT, everything, and then complete your order. And then that places your order with us directly. So yeah, please everyone use the online shop. It makes it much more faster and easier for us to handle orders, also quotes and stuff like that. Please use the online shop. Because manual quotes at the moment, we don't do any manual quotes. It's just too much work. You can see it online very easy and fast, and everything through the online shop is going to be much faster processed as well. All right, then let's have a quick chat about PV Manager. PV Manager is our design tool. If you haven't used it yet, we have every first Thursday of the month we're having a PV Manager webinar, which goes half an hour, so you can check in with our design tool. But there's also some like a demo video and some information under the PV Manager tab in the IBC portal. So just check it out. It's an online design tool, and from there you get a full bill of material with mounting system, everything. And you can send that to the online shop. You get a quote right away. You can save that bill of material, and once your client signs the deal, you just press order and deliver, and it gets delivered. So no manual calculations. You can do it all in PV Manager into the online shop and then send it to site. So very easy, slick process. I can just recommend to use that. All right, then our technical services. So if you have got, just check out the tab technical services. We have different things available: on-site support, single line diagrams. We can also do a PV Manager design for you, so we can do the design for you if you want to. And but that all comes at a little cost, obviously. But no problem, we can support you with that. On-site commissioning, if you have a problem on site, we come out and help you fault finding, or if it's your first system, you're new to the product, it's your first time using a GoodWe hybrid inverter, and it's your first time installing, let's say, a solar MD battery, for instance. Let us know if you're unsure about it. Let us know, and we come out for checking the cabling and helping you with the programming of the product. But it also comes with a bit of a call out fee, obviously. So, but we can arrange and organize all of that, no problem at all. Cool, awesome. That should be it. It was much longer than I thought now. Sorry that it took a little bit longer, but that's about the introduction. And now we obviously all waiting for the new GoodWe product. And I'm done now here on my side. I'm going to stop sharing now. David, you ready on your side?
Yes, I'm always ready.
Perfect. Okay, presentation coming up. Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. Okay,
Awesome.
well, first I'll just run through some of the new things that we have. So it's very short, and then we'll go more into technical details around the ESG2 and the new ET inverters. Slide just needs to work. So first, one of the new products which we have launched already last year is the new SMT series, the 50 and 60 kilowatts. As you'll see, the 50 has 5 MPPTs, the 60 with 6 MPPTs. You'll see the SMT series is phasing out the older MT series. So some of us that have installed the older MT series, that's now being phased out completely with the new SMT series. So much higher efficiency, more MPPTs, much more efficient design. So I think it's a great move for everyone. And I think globally there's quite a bit of availability. Distributors just need to order more. So yes, as I mentioned, high efficiency on these devices. So it's much more compact design and more robust design as well. And as per all of our products, that 10% AC output power from the DC. And reliable, flexible operations. Then next, we're looking at our new ET, so the 15 to 30 kilowatt ET series. Here's an overview of the ET series. So we'll look at the data sheets a little bit later. So this is a 30 kilowatt. So the 25 and the 30 kilowatt both have dual battery inputs. So you can have two different battery banks on the inverter itself. And they do come supplied with a GM3000 smart meter. And the new smart meter comes with 200 amp CTs, where the old ones were only 120 amp. As for all of our hybrid inverters, we focus on the easy plug and play design, easy commissioning from one app. So for those of you that don't know, for our hybrid inverters, we always use the application called PV Master. And for the on-grid inverters, we use the app called Solar Go. And those two apps have actually merged into one. So Solar Go covers both storage and hybrid inverters. So going forward, that will be the app that we'll use. For all of our new hybrids, you'll see our PV usage capability is 1.5, the rated device. I'll go into more details into that later. And these also have the unbalanced output for zero export, smart load control, as I mentioned, the two separate battery inputs, and much higher efficiency on the high voltage devices. So here's just an overview of the spec sheet for the devices. I know I've had some funny requests about why do we have a 29.9, but unfortunately some countries don't allow you a 30 kilowatt inverter, but 29.9 is perfectly fine. So in South Africa we won't see this one. This one is more specifically, I believe it's Australia, or somewhere like that. As you see, the batteries are high voltage batteries. They go up to 50 amps on an input. The discharge power is as per inverter rating. As you'll see, the larger ones have it split per input, and the wide battery range of 200 to 800 volts. So we always have to remember with this is we only have 50 amps. If our battery can give us 50 amps, some of the high voltage batteries only give 25 amps on a single tower. Some of them you can put two towers together to make one tower, then you'll have your 50 amps. We just have to make sure we've got enough voltage to actually reach our power target. So especially once we get to the larger inverters, this is going to be more relevant to do that calculation. Then our MPPT rating on these inverters is 30 amps per MPPT. So that gives us a wide range. As you'll see, the 15 and 20 have 2 MPPTs, the 25 and 30 have 3 MPPTs, and it's 2 inputs per MPPT. So that's 15 amps per input or a combined 30 amps. Then you'll see the backup power here also, the overload capability of the inverters. As you'll see, these can overload up to 36 kilowatts for 60 seconds. And then the rest of the efficiencies and the new protections and all of that, we'll look at that more in depth later. So we move on to the ESG2. So here's the overview of the device. It's a nice looking device. I'll walk over to my device at the end of the presentation and show you how it looks. So for just a view that is familiar, all of our series are merging into one split series. So the old ES and EM inverters and our SBP inverters are all moving over to the new form factor and the new design, which is the Generation 2 design. So our distributors will always try and make this easy for you. They'll probably only bring in the ES without the M in it. The ES with the M in it is the EM series, which has a limited backup output. So with these ones, they are the same plug-and-play design, easy commissioning from our SolarGo app. They are quite quiet. They do have an internal fan, especially on the larger 6 kilowatt ones. When you are charging a lot and producing a lot of PV, there is an internal fan that will sometimes start up, but they do make very low noise. So here's a looking at the differences from the old generation to new generation. As I mentioned, that EM, the old EMs was a 2.3 kilowatt backup always. The new EM is a 3 kilowatt backup always. So please keep that in mind, but I highly doubt any of our distributors will purchase this model. Then we look at the ES. So the old ES 5048 had a maximum discharge current of 100 amps. The new one is 120 amps. Then the battery input. We'll see the maximum power it can take up to 1.5 times. That's for the DC input. And then the max input current per MPPT is now 16 amps instead of the old 11. This was upgraded to 14 at the end of the ES, so it might be a bit confusing, but it is now 16 amps, so it gives us a much wider range for modules. The new max power from utility. We always have to look at that. Maximum can be 10 kilowatts. The 5 and the 6 does 10, and the smaller will do 2 times. So the 3 kilowatt does 6, and then the 5 and the 6 do a maximum of 10 kilowatts. Same for backup. You can have a continuous overload capability of 2 times, up to that 10 kilowatt as well. And that is constant as long as you have enough energy available. So when you have solar and batteries, or when the grid is available, the inverter will allow you to do that overload constantly. It will not trip off for a constant overload as long as we have enough energy available from either the grid or solar and batteries together. Then when we only have batteries, then we'll see it's only for 10 seconds. So when we have batteries only, our overload will only be for 10 seconds. And then we updated the DC surge arresters to type 2 internally. And then we can also get the optional arc fault detection as well. Then next, for parallel systems, we do have the Easy Link, and I'll show you a bit how that works in the systems. So this will be the dongle that you require when you have a parallel system, and this is a total replacement for all the Wi-Fi modules on the inverters. They will have no Wi-Fi modules. You parallel the ESG2 inverters together and plug an Easy Link, creating that inverter to be the master inverter. And this will then send the data of all your inverters to the portal in a combined fashion. So this has both LAN and Wi-Fi embedded. So let's look a bit more in depth at the ESG2. So I'll have a more detailed paralleling system guide for you sooner. It's a bit later in the presentation. With this, you can see we have the master dongle with that easy link that I mentioned, all combined with a combined backup output. The next, all of our new hybrid inverters, the same with the ET, I'll show you that in a slide later as well, all have load control relays. So from the application, you can adjust this to change different modes. So either just a power switching mode, so once we get X amount of PV production, switch load on, a time mode to put things on during a certain time of day. So you can do that for a pool time, use that as a pool timer or anything like that, and then backup load control to switch loads into the backup. So if you have a changeover or double pole contactor, to switch loads from grid to backup when there is certain values, so that you can run some loads during load shedding. So if you get load shedding during the middle of the day, we've got plenty of PV, why not switch on the geyser and let that run as well, even though we have 4 hours of load shedding. So here's an example of that, where you can set certain parameters to switch that on. So once our battery is a certain percentage, it will then switch that load on and run it during the middle of the day. So yeah, I'm a bit lost on this slide. So yes, we also do integrations, which we are busy working on to make it more of a microgrid. So if you already have an existing PV inverter, you can then switch that into the backup. So this is still under testing. And next we have our generator integration. So as those dry contact relays that we have for loads, we have another relay specifically for generator switching. So that is just a simple dry contact. So this you can configure within the SolarGo application, either automatic or manual. So automatic, it will then automatically close the relay and start a generator, and you can set different values. So once my battery runs to a certain percentage, switch on generator, charge my batteries up to a certain percentage, then switch generator off again. So for those who already have auto starting generators, that is a nice feature to include. Or you can just have it manual, so in bad situations, then you can just manually go and start the generator. Please note that this is all available from the ARM version 5, which we are releasing within this week. The next, the operation modes, as everyone knows, self-consumption, which is the default one, time of use, which you can adjust different charge and discharge times, especially if you are on a time of use tariff. Backup only to reserve the batteries to discharge only when the grid is unavailable. And then we also have peak shaving. Peak shaving is nice and more for larger utility customers. So this will be on our ET as well as on the ES. So that just gives us the flexibility to reduce those peak demands. So for business customers who are billed on KVR, that's a nice feature to have. But I think for homes, it doesn't really make a difference. Then looking at the communication system, so these inverters will be adding a lot more functionality. In future, we'll also have the Modbus TCP IP to smart meters, especially with that new EasyLink dongle, and that gives us a lot more freedom to work. As I mentioned, the new surge arresters, so type 2 DC. We even have within the app alarms, so if the DC or AC surge arrestor is tripped or fails, we do get alarm on the portal now indicating that it has failed. And then the arc fault protection. So this is something that's becoming a requirement in EU, especially for insurance companies. Some insurance companies demand that the device does have this, or they won't insure the system in Europe. So this is available across our range of devices. going forward. So if we do have a requirement for that in South Africa, our distributors can start to purchase them with the arc fault protection included. So the backup, as I mentioned, the overload capability, 2 times part number up to that 10 kilowatts, and it does work very well. So let's look at our PV overloading. So the PV overloading on our inverters, we say 1.5 times the part number. So yeah, in this example, we've got the 5 kilowatt ES. That can take 7.5 kilowatts of DC, and that is not just for oversizing, for bad weather or anything like that. That's actual usable DC. So I always like to explain it is it's a 5 kilowatt inverter and it has a 7.5 kilowatt MPPT. Well, 2 MPPTs divided gives you 7.5 kilowatts. So that's actual usable energy. So in the day it can give you that 5 kilowatt AC as well as charge at 2.5 kilowatts. The same goes for the ES6 kilowatt. You'll see they can take 9 kilowatts of DC. So especially if a customer has higher energy requirements, so have a much higher base load, but their peak demand does not or hardly ever exceeds the inverter's rating. A lot of customers might only peak over that 6 kilowatt once or twice or 3 times a day for a short period of time. Then the 6 kilowatt is more than sufficient for those customers. But that higher base load will require more PV to actually compensate the consumption as well as charge the battery bank. So this gives us that flexibility to do more with the system. And as I explained, that overload, it's a constant overload when you have utility available. So it can take 10 kilowatts from the grid, or 5 kilowatts from the grid and 5 kilowatts from the PV. But it can also simultaneously take 5 kilowatts from the PV and 5 kilowatts from the battery to give us that 10 kilowatt overload. Then compatible batteries, so almost all of the batteries from the older generation, we are moving to the new generation as well. Most of the batteries are already compatible. I seem to be missing a slide here. It might be hidden somewhere. But we do have the local battery manufacturers as well, which are also compatible. Now let's have a deeper look at the paralleling system. So there is 2 ways to do the parallel. This is the first way, which is currently 100% approved from our R&D side. So 2 to 3 units paralleling will give you UPS level switching time. As I mentioned, the EasyLink will be in your master inverter and no Wi-Fi modules in any of the other inverters. These connect via RS485 to one another. The EasyLink does come with 2 cables to connect 2 inverters or 3 inverters to each other. What we have to keep in mind in this configuration is that the same size battery bank per inverter, and try and keep the battery cables as well as the backup AC cables more or less the same length, just to make sure there is no discrepancy in resistance. And you'll see the master inverter gets the smart meter, and the rest is then they only connect to one another. Then the next solution, which is the busbar solution. So this will work with some batteries already, most likely BYD, Powertech, and those kind of batteries that can already have one big parallel battery bank. That you should be able to do as well, where you have all your batteries connected to a bus bar, and then always try and then connect the batteries to the inverters and then the backups all together as well. So for me personally, this is a much nicer solution. It's always better to have a combined battery bank in a parallel system, especially if you only have PV on, let's say, 1 or 2 inverters and not on the 3rd one, because you have a higher peak demand and not so much load demand in total. But the inverters, even in this configuration, should compensate for that. So if one inverter does produce more PV than the other inverter, and this one starts to essentially export that power, then one of the other inverters will then consume that power to charge the batteries. Then lastly, on the parallel, we can parallel up to 16 units in communication. Please note this is all just in single phase currently. We are working on the 3-phase capabilities, but it's not yet available. With 16 units or up to 16 units, you only have EPS level change over time. So with this one, the requirements is the same battery banks, the same AC cable lengths, and then thirdly, an ATS. So currently you do require to install an ATS so that during normal on-grid operations, all the loads are connected to the grid side of the inverters. And when the grid fails, the ATS then switches everything over to the backup side of the inverters. So I know currently this is not the most ideal situation, but in a single phase system, having more than 3 6 kilowatt units paralleled is quite big for single phase and is most likely not really going to happen. But this solution is available. But please note that is EPS level change over time. So the ATS is normally switched within 20 milliseconds to 100 milliseconds, and that causes the delay. So computers and things like that will shut off during that change over time. And as I mentioned, the EasyLink will be the common dongle. So you'll do the setup of the system as well as the Wi-Fi configuration or LAN connection to this. Another thing to note that the ESG2s now all have built-in Bluetooth. So should you need to configure them, even though it doesn't have a Wi-Fi module, you can connect to it via Bluetooth to configure the inverter itself. Oh, I knew my slide was somewhere. So yeah, it's just our local battery manufacturers that is also compatible on our inverters.
Hey David, before we move on to the next, the paralleling. I just want to quickly go back to the paralleling. You said so it was only single phase paralleling. Do I see that
Yes.
correct, or can we do already 3-phase paralleling?
No, only single phase currently.
Okay, and I can do the single phase paralleling with a common bus bar, or like each inverter has its own battery.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
this primarily depends on the batteries. So whether the batteries can communicate with one another and then have a common point. Some batteries you might not be able to link the batteries and make one bang from it.
Okay.
So as long as batteries
yeah.
parallel, yeah.
Yeah, I know that BYD as well as Solar MD, that's what we carry. They can do it. So I think that should be no problem. Okay, so we have UPS style switching time if we use up to 3 units, and over 3 units then it moves to like a longer switching time, and then we need also like an ATS to actually disconnect the grid. But as you said, also like I don't think that's really, I mean, more than 3 units, then we rather use a different inverter, maybe with more power. In that case, I think 3 units gets up to 15 to 18 kilowatt on one phase there. That should be quite sufficient.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, after that, you'd probably more look at 3-phase. I don't think anyone has single phase home on 18 kilowatts.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, cool. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that also answers the question, which was is it planned to 3-phase? What do you think? The 3-phase paralleling.
Yes, it is in the workings. So R&D is working on it. I don't have confirmation of the timeline yet.
Yeah.
But I myself am pushing to get it as soon as possible.
Okay. Perfect. I mean, also like for everyone else, I mean, we actually now using 3 of these inverters per phase, which is, let's say, 15 to 18 kilowatt. The next presentation is speaking, or like the next slides are going to come more to the ET series, which actually starts from 10, 15 kilowatt up to 30 kilowatt 3-phase units. I think as soon as that happens, someone should also then actually change to a 3-phase inverter. It's also going to be cheaper than using 3 5 kilowatt hybrids, and it will make sense to rather than choose the ET series. So I think for what we needed actually, to have 3 single units from 5 to 18 kilowatts connected on the single phase supply with UPS style switching, I think this is all we need. And everything bigger than that is going to be a different inverter. It's going to be a different inverter on the 3-phase side as well as on the single phase side if there would be a higher demand, which I doubt. But yeah, I think that should answer the questions. One quick last one, which was earlier here from Kinesh. He asked about the
off-grid function.
Yes, off-grid capability of the ES units.
Yeah, so the early generations of the old 5048 we didn't recommend for off-grid, but even in later years now, the firmware has developed a lot more to work better off-grid, and a lot of functionalities have been added for that off-grid. The ESG2 is perfectly fine off-grid as well. Okay,
so the unit can start in an off-grid environment through the battery or PV.
Yes, and that's also why you have that generator capabilities, so that you can switch in a generator when you need to, especially on off-grid scenarios. When you have bad weather for a week, you're going to run out of power sooner or later, and that's why you need a generator in fully off-grid scenarios, unless you don't mind being up without power for a day or two, if we have very bad weather for a week where there's no solar.
Yeah. But then, I mean, even if the whole system would shut down and there is no generator, on the next day when the PV comes, the inverter would actually start up again, right? And charge batteries and would work again.
Yeah, the inverter will start up, charge the batteries first to a certain percentage. Once it's reached a certain percentage, it will then start the backup output.
Okay, perfect. So then the off-grid capability is actually fully there.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's it from my side as well. Thanks.
Perfect. Okay, well, let's look at the new 15 to 30 kilowatts. So these do give us also the capability for the larger PV modules. They will be used for small CNI scenarios or large homes. There's a nice overview of that PV overloading, that 150%, 1.5 times the part number that we mentioned. So during the peak of the day, so we'll hit that peak demand, and that energy will not go to waste. If we have AC loads, that energy will then be used to charge the battery. So it just gives us a lot bigger peak as well as where you normally hit that flat cap, that excess can then be used to charge batteries. Then the unbalanced output, which we mentioned. So the unbalanced output is a functionality that's used especially for zero export. So for a lot of places where you're not allowed to export to the grid, this feature was a unique feature to GoodWe. We were the first to release this feature. So with a device, you'll see if the on-grid load, so this is not talking about backup, the backup side is always going to be unbalanced. But on the on-grid side, when we have zero export enabled and we are consuming, so if you have some loads on your backup, some loads on-grid that you don't need to run off of batteries when the grid fails, those loads will also then be compensated by the PV and the batteries as well when the grid's available. So with that zero export, you'll see it can give unbalance. So if you need 10 kilowatts on one phase and 1 kilowatt on the other phase, it will essentially give you that power. So it's like individual phase limiting. So the export power limit will be individual phase limiting. Same for the backup output or off-grid output. We'll see that. And then we can also do unbalanced charging. So if we do charge the batteries from the utility, so if we're using it just as a UPS or a time of use tariff kind of device, it will unbalance charge. So it will draw unbalanced power from the phases to make the consumption from utility equal. So this is especially valuable for any KVR built customers. So it doesn't just pull everything per phase and increase that KVR output from, or consumption from the grid. It will draw from the phases that are using the lowest amount of power and then use that AC power to charge the inverters. As I mentioned, that smart load control, we also have that on the ET series. So the functionality is exactly the same. Then the battery inputs. So the 15 and 20 they only have one battery input, so that you'll have one battery bank or a battery that can parallel. You can also have two sets of batteries like Pylon-Tech or BYD. Some of the batteries you might be able to have two stacks connected to each other and then connect that to the one battery input. But the larger ones have two battery inputs. So if your customer already, for interest sake, has an ET inverter installed and they rather want to upgrade to a 25 or a 30 kilowatt, you can actually install that now, put the one battery that you have already on the one input and a new battery on the second input, and they are completely split in that sense. So it gives you a lot more flexibility. So if availability is a problem on certain batteries, then you can put one battery bank on the one side and then a different battery bank on the other side. As I mentioned, that peak shaving, so this is especially for our commercial customers. For that KVR demand, where we have that peak demand charge on the utility bill, so that we can set certain times and operating times for this to operate, and to try and limit that usage from the grid from batteries. So you can save a certain amount of battery power for that specifically. The rest of the work modes, as we see, is, as everyone knows, your general mode, your backup mode, and your economic mode. One can also, with all of our new devices, with the Bluetooth, we're busy. It should be 100% released soon within the next few weeks. That you can, as long as you have a data connection on your mobile phone, albeit Wi-Fi to your customer's network or a 4G network connection, you connect via Bluetooth, and then you can update the firmware of the hybrid inverters through the application. And then everything connects to SEMS, and here's a nice view of our new SEMS portal application that will be released during the course of this year. So there's a nice view of that for everyone. So you'll see there's a lot more information and details that is provided on the new app. And that's it.
David, thanks so much. Can we, like, just for the paralleling capability of the ET units?
Yeah, so the ET units will parallel at some stage. I don't have an exact timeline for that. We do have a new controller that's being released for these parallel systems. So for the three-phase systems, so even our on-grid inverters, there's a new device coming. I think that is due around August. And once that's available, then we'll get confirmation of the paralleling of these inverters and how that parallel will be working. So I think currently we just have to work off of the assumption that they do not parallel at the moment. And then once that new communication device has been released, then we can introduce the parallel of that system.
Mm-hmm. But generally, I mean, still on the AC input side, they could still be paralleled and view like still like before, where the ET kind of like parallels, but I mean, it's visible as one system on the SIMs.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
AC side is
so
parallel, but just the outputs are all separate and the batteries are all separate, correct?
yeah, so with the current ET series, we do have a parallel, or what I like to call a common metering point, which does work. So the new ones won't have that yet.
Okay.
So each one will have its own smart meter, and then you'll see double the load on the portal and things like that. But it will functionally work to have them just both connected to the same on-grid side for larger self-consumption unit. But that paralleling to have a common metering point and all of that will come with the new logging device.
Okay. Do you think then will the outputs be parallelable?
I do hope so. It is my #1 request for the ET30s, so I don't have details on that yet, unfortunately.
Okay. So we're just going to work the ETs on the single unit for now, and only kind of like fully parallel the ES.
That's it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. Is there anyone else with any more with more questions on this? I mean, most was answered. I think it's quite, especially the DES, something we were waiting for a long time, which is great. I think there we definitely fully parallelable in UPS mode. That's very amazing. And now those new 3-phase units up to 30 kilowatt, one unit 30 kilowatt 3-phase is also amazing. I mean, that should let's say on the residential side as well as small commercial side should actually sort out most of the people, and also make it much more cheaper and easier to install the products. The question here, will the ETs be controllable with this new dongle external control? Yeah, I think, David, yeah, that new dongle or like the new communication device will then be able to control the ETs, right?
Yeah, so the ETs will come with their Wi-Fi as normal. So the new Easy Link is for paralleling system for the single-phase devices currently. So we won't use the Easy Link on the ETs, although I think they technically can be used for data collection and the American IEE 20320, but we don't need them for the ETs at all. From Wi-Fi, we can remotely configure the devices anyway, even the current devices.
And so the Easy Link, I only need the Easy Link when I parallel the ES, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So in the single work mode, just one unit, I don't need anything. The energy meter is already in the box, right? And I don't need any extra product to actually run the ES as a single inverter, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so the new controllers which we are releasing, it will be ready in August, will be sort of like our SECs, which is our communication box for more commercial systems. And that SEC will include functionalities to connect with both hybrids and on-grid inverters. So if you have a hybrid and on-grid inverter combination on a site, but I'm sure we'll have a launch event for that and a training as well when we release it. Yes. The new devices will also give you the ability to control your devices with an EMS via Modbus TCP/IP or Modbus RTU. The new devices have a lot more features and functionalities for external control.
There's also like one question above that from chat.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The external EMS control on the new dongles gives us a lot more flexibility for.
No, there's one. Is an external Earth neutral bond relay required in case of power failure?
No. So all of our devices do have internal earth neutral relays. From the application SolarGo, when you do the configuring, you'll see there's a setting in advance called PEN relay. That's your PE to neutral relay. So all of our new devices do have those built in, all the hybrid devices, the ET, the ES-G2, they have it built in. So if you enable that functionality, when the grid fails, it will bond the earth to neutral. So there's no need for any external bonding.
Oh, perfect. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah, I think they're quite cool units. I was very excited to get them in now, and yeah, very, very happy that we finally also have some bigger units, like 3-phase 15 to 30 kilowatt. That was something we're waiting for a long time as well for. I think that's also a game changer in the market at the moment. Those bigger units, very, very good.
For sure. And from what I heard, they price quite well as well. So.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to check it out, it's all in the online shop available already. Stock is available. So you're free to press the button and purchase those units. It's not much we have of this ET of the 3-phase ones in. It's the first couple of pallets, but the next order is already in production. So we should get much more of the ETs soon.
The new ES range has the 3 kilowatt, the 5 kilowatt, and the 6 kilowatt.
Yeah, at the moment we stocking. We just got a big batch of the 5 kilowatt in, but with the next order in like probably arriving in like 1-2 months, 2 months, we should also get the 6 kilowatt inverter as well. So we will stock more or less both of them.
Yeah, and if customers need smaller ones, they'll just have to ask you to order those as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's unlikely.
3 kilowatt is small. I mean, they're good, very good priced. So it's especially for overload purposes, makes no sense to really put a 3 kilowatt unit in, then rather put a bigger unit in and have the higher capacity, but maybe smaller battery or something to save some money. But yeah, it should. 5 kilowatt and 6 kilowatt are the units we're gonna stock for sure. All right. Any other questions? Perfect. Yeah, have a look into the shop. The units are very nicely priced. The 3 kilowatt unit of the 3-phase units, the 30 kilowatt and the 15 kilowatt. Those ones are in stock at the moment. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna fly out quite quickly. So if you have a site where it makes sense, yeah, you should order quite soon. And yeah, so all GoodWe products at the moment look still quite good on stock. So don't wait too long, and yeah, have a look at it.
Yeah, and one thing for the installers as well, just to note, like with the 5 kilowatt inverter, that the maximum draw from AC is 10 kilowatts, and the maximum load it can give is also 10 kilowatts. So we just need to make sure to size the cables and the breakers according to that 10 kilowatt rating. Otherwise, you might have tripping issues.
All right. Cool. Looks like not much more questions. I hope everyone is excited. And yeah, also not much more to add from my side. Then I think we gonna close the webinar. David, thanks so much for taking the time and introducing the new hybrid inverters to us. And yeah, we'll have some next presentations, or when the next launches come of new products, gonna have that soon. But I think that should be it for now.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. It's exciting times.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for attending.
Goodbye, everyone.